This is Design and Dialogue, and I am Tigner Brand. Design and Dialogue is a conversation with brand creators. Joining me today is a brand creator, Ms. Robin Hickman-Winfield.
Yeah.
Robin is a CEO of Soul Touch, which is the creative brand behind Soulful Dolls.
Yes.
Robin, she is a doll artist, a collector, and an advocate. She has created original restyled dolls, furnishings, and accessories that celebrates multi-ethnic fashions through dolls. Today, we're talking to her about an upcoming exhibition, a celebration of soulful dolls, honoring our ancestors and elders. This exhibition will premiere at the Minnesota African American Museum and Gallery starting November the 6th at 2 p.m. and will go through December the 18th. So without further ado, I would like to welcome to Design and Dialogue, Robin Hickman-Winfield. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful, brother, to be with you. I tell you, I am so overjoyed about the exhibit, but just looking at you, that's what the smile is like, extra.
Yes, I appreciate that. It's been a while. I'm grateful for us to have an opportunity to talk. We've been in contact, but I've always been in awe of you because of your creativity, your mind, and your open spirit. You have a very warming spirit that a lot of times people don't realize is that your spirit can help create and connect. And just from our conversations, I know that had a lot to do with the backstory of Soulful Dolls. So if before we get into your exhibition, kind of tell the community all about what is Soulful Dolls, how did it come about, what is the backstory for the brand?
A celebration of Soulful Dolls started, I would say, in my childhood, having a mother of faith and spirit and consciousness and love for our people, our lineage, and being one of those mothers that was like, don't bring my babies no dolls that don't look like them. That was still in us young. My mother was a part of an organization called the Institute Black Child Development. And every year she would go to that conference, and she would go to conferences in Atlanta, the Black Women's Health Network, and she would bring us black dolls from there. So that was a part of my indoctrination. And I loved dolls when I was little, love them Barbies, but we couldn't get it until they came out with Chrissy doll, and then Julia doll, Diane Carroll.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, that was a big time thing. Yeah.
That was my thing, but we didn't have a lot of money growing up. So my sister and I maybe got a doll a year, for Christmas, and still my brother's G.I. Joes, when the black ones came out. But I would just get lost in that, creating that little doll, that little world that I could create with dolls. And I used to say, when I grow up, I'm gonna have all the dolls that I want, But I just kind of held on to that. And it was during a visit when I was grown out to California with my cousin, and her little 6-year-old daughter, Nikki, had a whole lot of dolls, and we just played dolls. And she said, do you have any dolls, Cousin Robin? I said, I'm too old. And she said, you're never too old. And that kind of reintroduced me. And I came back home from the trip and found a Nigerian Barbie doll at Target and bought it. And it kind of stirred something up in me. And then had other little cousins visit and for a weekend, and they kind of added to my excitement. And it just woke something up in me. I found myself unemployed but it helped me, God helped me press through this heaviness about having to reinvent myself. Yeah. And God gifted me the doll interests again. And I started writing and making things for these dolls that I was collecting, saying it was for my nieces, playing with my nieces with the dolls. Rebirthed something in me. I started writing stories. I started making clothes. I started making furniture. I found other sisters that I grew up with in the community that had a Black doll club at the recreation center in our community, playing with Black girls in the neighborhood, creating scenes with Kwanzaa and introducing some Black women in history through dolls. And it was just became a movement. It was called the Damali Doll Club, which in Swahili means beautiful vision. So my sister, Margaret, we still play together, and Deborah, who was passed on to glory, pure, simple, just playing with dolls with girls in the neighborhood, grown women. And I tell the girls that I work with in my program, loving the skin on me, if I am 50 something and can play with dolls, you sure can at 12, baby girl. Pure, something pure and powerful. Introducing girls of color to dolls that look like them, because if a girl of color doesn't like a doll that looks like them, that's something scary. My great uncle Gordon Parks took the famous photograph for the case Brown versus the Board of Education, the famous photograph of the Dr. Clark experiments, May and Henry Clark, the Black doll experiment for Brown versus Board of Education. That famous photograph was taken by Gordon Parks of the little boy rejecting the black doll over the white doll. So my uncle gifted me one of his famous photographs of the children with the white doll. So that is something it's more than doll play. It's very serious. So it is something that is deep for me over 30 years, creating this artistry. It's not a hobby. It's my artistry. It's a divinely given gift that has just blossomed. It brings me peace. And over, as the kids say, Rona, I got to get real deep into my artistry. First of all, during the COVID period, just being still and knowing God. And for this opportunity, you reached out, it was a week ago. You just been on my sister. We're trying to catch up, but you said, I want to know more about what you're doing with your dolls. So that's divine. This has been a divine journey. And then my mother, before she passed away, she just said, Robin, I'm proud of everything you've done and everything you're doing, but it's going to be your dolls. It's going to be your dolls that touches people around the globe. And so she just guides me from on high with this artistry and this movement and this passion. So wow. I just thank you.
Wow. That's awesome. So when I see the dolls, these dolls are very creative. You see the artistry in it. So I think you have a couple of images that you can share of some of your dolls. And while I'm talking, can you, do you make the clothes for the dolls also?
Yeah, I used to make everything, because when it came back to me deep, I was like unemployed. I had left a good government job to do PR and run a foundation for one of our Minnesota Timberwolves. I will not name him, but he got traded and left me to the curb. So I was out of work. So, but the dolls had come to me at that point. So I couldn't afford to buy clothes for them. So I started making them because I knew how to sew and everything. So I used to make clothes and furniture and all of this stuff, right? And literally, it saved me from going into deep depression. What am I going to do? I started photographing them. And so I made clothes and stuff, but then I like supporting artisans. And so I started getting on the internet and finding other artists that made clothes. And so it's been, again, a year journey. So now I support other artists for this exhibit, for instance, which is customizing dolls. I customized a Sheila E. doll when she had her tribute to Prince, and she invited artists from around the country who had created Prince art. I was invited because I had done an exhibit in which I had the Beautiful Ones band. Someone from her team saw it, invited me to have that displayed, and I hadn't had a drummer in that band. I said, I better do a Sheila doll. She saw it and went crazy. So I've been customizing celebrities, everyday folks, for years, but she lost it. But for this exhibit, customizing dolls as the elders in the community, and they won't be revealed until Saturday, till Saturday when the opening. Yes. I can't wait to see some of these elders cry tomorrow. One who is my village godfather, I know he's going to lose it. He's the father of a very, very famous artist, musician who will go and name Stokely. I got his daddy. Yeah. His daddy gonna lose it. But it's just to bring them to life and to celebrate and honor them in this way. It's just. But the sister who collaborated with me on this project, who made his outfit, his dashiki, she used to sew for him 20 years ago and make his dashikis in real life.
So she knew what would it, just
She,
encapsulate him through.
She nailed it. She nailed it. She made him a black suit with a turtleneck like he does, but the dashiki and the hat.
It's everything.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. So, you can't even hardly see the picture, but this is just, you can go on.
That's good right there. That's perfect right there.
Yeah, so this is me in the house. I create scenes. So after my mother died, I've always created sets, realistic. I don't deal with no plastic and spray paint, everything in the set. So if I do an exhibit and somebody looks at it in real life, they have to look at a set that's like a replica. So
of a room or a place.
A replica of one of her that symbolizes what I grew up in her house. So you're going to see over the fireplace a little oil painting that looks like my great grandmother, or you're going to see little crystal vases and flowers, and you're going to see Black art. So I behind me is, I have this Vernette Honeywood print in my dollhouse, but Vernette Honeywood used to gift me note cards of hers, signed note cards, because I told her how I used her art in my work to expose young people to her art. And she appreciated that. So she used to give me Vernette Honeywood. Her famous art was on the Cosby Show.
Cosby Show, exactly.
So I expose young people to our greats. I have in my art, if you go to Instagram and see like the Robin doll. So Robin has a mini doll. My husband Steve is a mini doll. So I tell stories and write stories, but it's exposing. I have Vermeer Beardians, but I teach young people about the great Black artists.
Right. So
so much, we ain't even had it enough time, but it just brings me peace and joy to create this world I can control when mine's out of control, right?
Exactly. I like that. You say, when I can control this when mine is out of control. So are any of the dolls for sale? Do you ever sell them to, or how does it?
I used to, and I'm trying to get back to it. I hooked up with my dear friend who's an attorney in her law firm to take this to another level, because it's just time. And I used to do shows, and I used to, sell the dolls, but I really want to tighten that all up. Stationary, so we're going to get back to that. I have a customized doll, for instance, of my Uncle Gordon Parks, who he actually met his doll. He summoned me to come out to New York because he said, we need to talk, baby. So it was my time to get instructions from him. And he was selling a little doll. So I took a little roll-on bag of dolls and my photography, because, he mentored me to teach me, how to know photography tips. So again, my photographs are really special. And I had a customized doll of him. And I put it on his dining table in front of his breakfast plate. He came out of his room, baby, is that me? And I nailed that doll. And he held that doll. And so now it's in the exhibit. And now, but I was just in his hometown where he filmed The Learning Tree, and I was on a panel discussion. I pulled that doll out for, can I buy that? I'm like, no, you can't buy my Gordon Parks doll. But he actually held his doll. And we were going to do a photography project together before he died. I was working on a book, a coffee table book of my photography. And of one of the photos he loved, he said, well, baby, tell me how you achieved this image. I said, man, I ain't you. I just had the sun was shining bright and I took the picture, that deep, Right. But I regret that I didn't have a chance to collaborate with my uncle on would that have been hot? Come on.
On a higher level, yeah.
But he really appreciated my work, and so to have a doll of him, and I took the doll down to Fort Scott, Kansas, his birthplace, his resting place, and so I have a beautiful image of him on miniature on a horse in Kansas. It's just all over the place. So as I look at it as a venture, I have many visions. So that is a really major part of Soul Touch Productions, is a celebration of Soulful Dolls. Okay.
So can individuals commission you to do work for, to create replicas of themselves, or
you know what that becomes when I have had those requests, and as an artist, I am finding that sometimes that takes the joy out of the art. Soul Touch Productions, I am blessed to have so much going on. I'm in the business of touching souls.
Okay.
And when that business disrupts my own soul, you know, I'm a newlywed still. And my greatest blessing is being Mrs. Winfield. You know?
Right.
My greatest blessing and my primary work is walking in that blessing. And I have other great work that I've been blessed to do. And I was obedient when COVID came, obedient to being still and knowing God.
Right.
And in stillness and that resting and reflecting and restoration, I got a lot of clarity. Doing what God called me to do with the celebration of Soulful Dolls was not doing a lot of customizing. I customize when what I want to customize.
Understood.
You know what I'm saying?
Understand.
So if God speaks to me to say customize my brother here, then that's what I do. So I'm not there yet, because that takes away when I got to have somebody who begs me to do it. And I was at a show. I did a show, an event, and I had laid out, and this woman came up and, please do me, sister. I pay you good. Pulled out a wad of money and just kept hounding me. And then I took it on and she bugged me. It's like, sister, I'm gonna do it up good. And she just bugged me every week. She was calling, and I said, you can't rush this.
Yes.
And I laid it out, and she was all so happy. But she dang near cussing me out every week.
So, yeah.
And the
Yeah,
improv
that
was beautiful. She was just almost falling out. But I said, never again, not like this. You know,
you can't as an artist, you can't work under those type conditions, because creativity can't flow when someone is pressuring you to do something. It's one thing for me to say, hey, Robin, I want to get commissioned to do something. That, as a person, from an artist to another artist, that means I have to step back. Everyone that understands it, I have to step back and allow you to do your thing. You know, whatever that is. You say, hey, it's going to take 6 months to do this. And that means I be quiet until you say, hey, I will give you some renderings at these different steps of the way, or whatever the case is. But when people start hounding you, I'm sure that just took away all the creativity of being able to work and do what you love to do. Yeah.
It's me. It's the joy. So when I was approached by my dear hearts from In Black Inc., which is a Black-owned blessing publishing company here in St. Paul, Raquette and Anura CSR, they are so committed to Black narrative, and they were with support from the St. Paul, Minnesota Foundation, to commission me to do this amazing project on the elders. God, what an honor. And I said, oh, I could do that. And so they had some elders in mind, but I said, I really got to do who I'm feeling.
What you feeling, yeah.
You know, because for me, all elders are elderly statesmen. Women. So
Hello.
I had, you know, and so I kind of had to negotiate with them who I had on
came to the meeting of the minds to.
Yeah, we get to minimize, because you know, every elder, there are some elders in this project that are, oh my God, you know, that everyone knows and celebrates. And then there's some elders that are those who are special to me, very special to me, who are not known.
Understand.
Who are not, you know, Stokely, actually, he's you know, that's my village cousin right there. And he sung at his funeral. And I mean, I remember him standing over our mother before she passed away and just talking, I'm petty, you know. And he asked, you know, what do you want? What can I do? And he sung at Mama's funeral. He sung one of the Mint Condition songs, Unsung. She was a hero unsung.
Wow.
So there are unsung
heroes
and heroes.
Yes.
Elders and ancestors in this exhibit that will just fall out when they see themselves in that display case, reading little miniature books to the babies in that little display case with them, that are written by local authors that don't know their book. is in the display. And in the display down the way is Gordon Parks with these movie cameras and his movie posters around them, next to my pastor, because that's who I wanted in it. And that doll stood in the sands in Ghana. Oh, the stories. And I'm just, to have this opportunity is such a blessing to show the power of dolls.
Yes.
And I had so many visions. It came to me one day on my spirit to do a soulful doll of my father, because this doll came out, and this doll company, and there's some powerful doll companies out, to be able to walk with doll designer Stacy McBride Irby, who was with Mattel for years, and now we're very close friends. And she left Mattel, but to have this sister while she was at Mattel, she did the AKA anniversary doll. She had an amazing black doll line at Mattel. She's no longer with them. But when she was at Mattel, I could call her up and she would talk to my girls and loving the skin I'm in, and they're holding her dolls. And they can't believe we're little black girls talking to a Mattel designer. There's so many powerful stories. So I'm gonna give her a shout out, because I have many of her dolls in my collection. We can do this, you all, with something as simple as dolls, but it came to my spirit. So recently they have a collection, Inspiring Woman, but one of the elders will see that I use the Maya Angelou doll and customize that doll as this elder in the community. Rerouted her hair and cornrowed her hair to look like this elder. I pull that hair, long hair out, and give the doll short afros, like the Ella Fitzgerald doll that I used as my mama's doll. And the doll, beautiful black male doll that I use is my father. My mother and father, while here, there was discord. But in the soulful doll world, I posed them in my soulful garden, and they're holding hands, and we are all standing together. And that is so powerful. So when my siblings see that mama and daddy are together,
yes,
the soulful doll world,
yes,
all things are possible.
Exactly. So how many dolls will be on exhibition?
I probably have, there are like 18 portraits, and there are probably about 25 dolls. There's one scene of the elder, one of the star elders that I wasn't supposed to name, but by the time people see this, the exhibit will be open. So Uncle Elder Mahmoud is going to be doing a lecture. And all of the dolls in them chairs at the lecture got beautiful African attire that again has been made by artists from around the country. Ooh, that piece is beautiful. And he is launching a movement that he actually is launching called Progress, Sure, 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 which is from a Ghanaian movement. And so that scene, that set is just kicking. I have to mention another shout out too of a customized doll I did, Judge Maybelline.
Oh wow, I know that ought to have been a nice looking doll.
And she got her doll. Oh, she was so excited. But I have to give her the shout out. I love her. And Camille A. Brown, who is kicking it on Broadway. Anyway, those are beautiful customized dolls. But anyway, yeah, there's about 18 dolls. I have about 4 different sets, but a lot of dolls. And those dolls are so beautiful. I have a doll of our beloved my Shiro, Katie McGuad, who was passed on one of our civil rights cultural leaders, and Dr. Josie Johnson, who people from here will know. She is one of our living legends right now. Leaders extraordinaire. Just so excited. And then again, some that people don't know who are precious to me. My Miss Freddie Lissamore, who was one of my inspirations as an artist. It's Reverend Gloria Roach Thomas, my pastor for years, my spiritual guide, and a number of other people. But my parents, that is the image. My husband, Stephen Winfield.
Right. Can you show us a few more of your? Just give us some of the pictures so people get an idea of what that they can see if they're able to attend, as well as
No, it's so this is I don't know if you can see this.
Hold it up just right to yeah, there you go, right there. Yes.
This is again a vision. This is Mahmoud.
Uh-huh.
And in this set, this doesn't do justice because the set that I designed is of a couple that I made up. But this is a picture of my doll, a doll. I named her QB after my dear friend Fabilla Shabazz. And she was like, "You get a doll of me." And in this little family, in this world, in the Soulful Doll world, this is her husband Daniel, and this is in their condo in Ghana. And this is just a scene of Mahmoud visiting them in Ghana with the baby, but the set is cold. I'm telling you, the real set is really cold.
So for your sets, what do you kind of frame them in boxes, or? And then...
Yeah, they're little like in this little, just little set boxes, and they're 1/6 scale.
Okay.
I use little. Yeah, and everything is 1/6 scale furniture, props. If I have a crystal vase, that's really like a toothpick holder, but it's crystal. I have artists that make out there in the artistry world that make miniature books. I make miniature books. I used to be able to look at a piece of furniture and replicate it in 1/6, but I don't have time. So I find other artists.
Awesome.
This is another precious photograph. Let's see if we can see that.
Uh-huh.
Move
it over just a little bit to your left. Right there. That's it. Right there. Perfect.
This is my mother and her close friend Katie McGuat. They used to love going to the farmers market and sit around and talk. But this is them like they're
in the garden in the backyard, eating fruit. So got the dog in the back. Got some pumpkins.
They're sampling their food from the farmers market.
Oh, that's nice.
So can you imagine an artisan making all that little food?
Yeah,
and this artisan comes from, I think, the Czech Republic.
Okay.
I have had stories done by reporters in
all over the world.
All over the world.
Wow. So really, once you get, do you sketch out your vision and then start putting it together, or is it just kind of it just evolves from the mind?
Going around going around in stores and just seeing what's in scale, scanning the internet, and we have just a big community in social media now that you can just kind of go and find. And I make things and quilts, and in 2017, I have to share this because it was so precious. I had an opportunity to go to Ghana, and I customized probably about 20 dolls and gave them beautiful short little afros. The dolls were different hues. And I gifted girls in remote villages in Ghana, little dolls, soulful dolls, and gave them portraits so that they could have dolls that look like them. And I cannot even tell you the joy of those girls to have dolls that look like them. Again, it wasn't just about them being black dolls, but to have little short afros.
Right. It depicted what they saw in their culture. Yes.
Ministry. It is a ministry. My pastor and his wife, they do ministry in Kenya at orphanages, and she has a movement called Dream Boxes for girls. And they gifted, one year they gifted 352 girls in this orphanage. And then one of the things in the dream box, when the girls opened the box, I have framed portraits of, again, dolls that look like them. And the last one, there were the dolls in the portrait were beautiful dolls with short froze and beautiful yellow gowns. They look like queens. And if you see the video, when they open the box, the girls just start screaming. That just touches my soul.
Yes.
That my soul. So it is a celebration of Soulful Dolls is my ministry.
Yes.
The movement and it's ministry. So whatever God has in store for it, I'm going with it. But it brings me peace. It brings me joy. It's my passion. And I share in this video because it was a part of this project, the St. Paul Foundation. had a producer come out, and they were with me for 4 hours, and they did a video. So on St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation website, there's a video about the movement. And we were all crying toward the end, and I'm boo-hooing at the end. But this is my gift to give, and no one can, I use the word hijack.
No, they can't. You're right. And a blessing is something, when God gives you something, and the blessing becomes when you're able to share it with others in various ways, as you just, described, from the exhibition to being able to give young children who may not ever see anything like them until they saw this. So, I mean, those are the blessings. And I am grateful for the opportunity to talk to you today, and to kind of inspire some creative soul that's watching this. And also for those who happen to be in the Minnesota St. Paul area, please find time to go by and check out this new exhibition. It's called A Celebration of Soulful Dolls, Honoring Our Ancestors and Elders, which will be held at the Minnesota African American Museum and Gallery starting on November the 6th through December the 18th. And we've had our brand creator, the founder and the owner and the visionary behind Soulful Dolls, is Robin Hickman-Winfield. I thank you very much for your time.
I love you. Thank you.
Before you go, make sure you give out all your social media handles so people can follow the journey and see the creativity as it evolves.
Thank you. Celebrate Soulful Dolls on Instagram. And that's my main one, and a celebration of Soulful Dolls on Facebook.
Awesome.
Thank
we want
you.
to thank you very much, Robin. And I am so inspired, and I continue being creative, and allow your creativity to be a blessing to others wherever they may be it here in America or abroad.
Thank you. And thank you so much for your daily meditations.
All right. Thank you.
Love you, brother. Thank you.
All right.